Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Admiral Kutuzov, and he is in the Kitakaze at Tier 9 Japanese destroyer. He is on the map Shards in a 3-point domination game. So this is an entire Tier 9 battle, so that's nice. There is no carrier, there are hardly any battleships, interesting enough, and there are 3 raiders. So he is going for a safe approach. Basically he has beached himself against an island, and now he is reversing back into the cap, so he has an easy exit if needed. There's a Friesland around. Now the Friesland does have some... well, it does have Hydro, but it looks like the Friesland is staying too far away to make much use out of it. Although the Friesland might just spot any torps coming this way. And thanks to the enemy's heavy use of smoke screens, Admiral Kutuzov can even fire his guns here without being detected. So isn't that nice? And the friendlies are taking this cap. Now, one Alaska has been spotted, but she doesn't seem quite close enough yet to use a radar. The another Alaska is down in the south, as is the Buffalo. So this is a nice start. Also, the Yugumo seems to be in the center. And well, I mean, Island doesn't have torps, so it's unlikely that there are torps coming. Yeah, I mean, there is a Neptune who could try to torp through a gap somewhere. And there is obviously the Italian. And yeah, Admiral Kutuzov has so far been able to use his guns quite a bit without being detected thanks to enemy smoke screens. That's always lovely. His torps are ready by now, he could try to launch some, but I would expect that the Friesland's Hydro is going to detect them anyway, and he might just be thinking the same thing. So now he's going to move out. On the less bright side, the friendlies have completely abandoned the A-cap, and that happens so often to this like northern spawn. I'm not sure why. Like, if you completely abandon the A-cap, the enemy can push around and kind of surround you, and it usually ends badly for your team. Now, you could make a stand here around the B area, but nobody ever does, because they all just wanna lump up here in the north side and then get completely wrecked. I guess people just aren't that much into winning. Now, enemy Alaska is inside radar range now. The Alaska has no idea that he could raid a destroyer, so there is... well, okay. Strike that. Now the enemy Alaska definitely knows the destroyer is around. So that's something to keep in mind. Admiral Kutuzov doesn't have some great targets. I mean, he might just have pulled the Alaska, you know. If the Alaska sees, tasty destroyer, maybe the Alaska is coming around this corner before its raiders, and then runs in those torps. This would be lovely, but, you know, Alaska might just be too afraid of the other friendly ships to do that. Or, it's entirely possible that the Alaska isn't paying attention. Now, very soon the enemy forces will go for the B-cap, I would assume, because they have nothing to do at the A area. Admiral Kutuzov gets in position to potentially defend B in the future. And, well, it looks like that Alaska is going even further into cover. There is also a Neptune there. He could shoot them a little bit in the rear. But, like, this is a dangerous spot to be in, because he's in radar range, so smoking up won't do anything, and there might just be too many enemies able to shoot him here. So, he's preparing to probably launch torps into this smoke screen right now, maybe even torp the Musashi. And oh, he's getting detected, so there is a Yugumo. That seems like a worthwhile target to shoot at. Yugumo is smoking, so he himself is slowing down and smoking, but you know, he's still inside radar range, right? Now let me just take a quick peek. Yes, the Alaska is still close enough. Now the Alaska hasn't paid much attention so far, but he might. The problem is there's a second Alaska, so he's in radar range of 2 enemy cruisers right now. And the Buffalo is coming this way, so soon he's in radar range of 3 enemy cruisers. That's not a very safe place to smoke up. Now the islands... these islands are not really that high, they won't provide much cover. So basically... it's getting pretty lucky that nobody's radaring. I mean, for all I know, one of the Alaska so at least has the radar CUDA, but it's like... would I have radared and when? Now, the Buffalo is meanwhile close enough, so he's in radar range of 3 raiders. And it's pretty obvious that he's inside his smoke screen here. But he's just merely farming Musashi and nobody cares. I mean, sometimes I guess this happens, and he's getting pretty lucky here. Down goes the Musashi. Now if he starts shooting a buffalo, like, that's like... Now they have to realize that he is here, right? I mean, he's actively shooting the Raider cruiser. Now, is the Raider cruiser going to Raider as an answer? No. Not. Still. You know, sometimes the world is really a confusing place. I mean, he's been, like, his smoke is already disappearing. So long he has been here. Inside of 3 raiders and... Oh, there is a raider! Oh my, they found the button. Bit late though, he has already left his smoke anyway. And, you know, the only one who seems to be shooting him is an enemy Kitakaze, which is weird. Like, there is quite a few ships here. Like, I mean, those cruisers can probably easily lob shells over this island. But, you know, it's just that one Kitakaze. Now, when Kudasov goes into concealment here, he's too low health to duel this enemy DD right now. Not to mention that, like, there, like, at some point an enemy might actually decide to shoot him. You'll never know. Now also, one of the Alaskas was, by the way, taken out at some point, so at least he only has to dodge 2 raiders now, and they are pretty close together. So, that's good news. The bad news is the friendly team is bleeding a little bit on ships there, but they still hold 2 caps. That's good. Now keep in mind that in replay you can't always see which ship was targeted. I'm assuming he had the Lion targeted here, because he wants to top that guy. And look at that, enemy Kitakaze spotted. I'm not sure if not he's the one providing the spotting, so he might disappear once he smokes up there. But it's like this Kitakaze needs to go. So he's smoking up, he's giving it a try, and it looks like somebody else can still see the Kitakaze, that's good. But this Kitakaze might just manage to disappear before it gets... or not. Yep, down goes a Kitakaze, and there is a torpedo hit on the Lion. Looks like only just 1. Oh no, 2. That's lovely. And he had his guns locked there. Continue shooting the cruiser while he was watching what happened with the Lion. Now it's time to farm that Lion some more. The Lion, I think he's still floating, right? Well then, when we, well, aside from the fact that the enemies are capping their B now, it's not that catastrophic. The enemy team is still like 1 ship ahead. Now would be a good time to defend B, and I think Admiral Kutuzov is deciding the same thing, so he's going to turn this ship around. It would be also nice if the friendlies would just start blobbing. Like, basically it happened what usually happens, the enemy is moving in from all sides, and the friendlies are kinda getting surrounded and wrecked, for the most part. And Admiral Kutuzov can barely keep up with keeping the enemies in check. Like, if the enemy team had found the radar button, then this game would probably have already been lost. So at least there is that, you know. Now the Yugomo took B, the Seattle is currently raiding the Yugomo, but I don't think anyone has shots, and that Yugomo is probably just safely disappear again. Maybe we saw some shells flying there, but I think they probably... Oh, that's not true. That could have gone wrong. And well, Admiral Kutuzov gets a few shells into an Alaska, his natural enemy, I suppose. And it doesn't look like anyone is shooting him. Now he's taking, like he's keeping an eye on the cruiser in the north. The cruiser in the north currently doesn't have shots at him. The Chambard would have, but the Chambard doesn't look like it. And no, this, you shouldn't talk like this, okay? Now let's take a look at this situation. The Izumo is probably going behind this island, so it's safe, but that Seattle is coming in like this. Now you could argue, why would the Seattle charge a Chambard? It's because it's World of Warships. The Seattle doesn't look this. There is no reason why the Seattle would ever be looking this way, okay? That Seattle is looking at that Chambard. That Seattle can't see those torps coming. And that Seattle is... If he isn't sunk by the Chambard, he might just run it. Like, the chance of torping the Seattle is higher than the chance of torping the Chambard. Now, meanwhile, Admiral Kutuzov is, I guess he's keeping an eye on the situation. It would be a good, like, he could at least warn the Seattle in chat, you know, try to tell him something. And there's a radar. And... well, I guess he's going for the ram, so it all ended well. But seriously, that... don't torp like that. Now, meanwhile, Kutuzov was radar there for a second again. No enemy decided to shoot him really in that time, which is, I guess, a good thing. And that Alaska is taking some damage now. We've lost track of the Buffalo and, well, obviously the Yugumo. So no idea where the Yugumo went. I would assume the Yugumo might just be hunting down this Izumo. It would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Well, he could try to sneak around here in the north, but... actually, he's detected here, so the Yugumo must be around. Not sure why the Yugumo decided to... or was it... no, wait, it might have been the Brindisi who ordered him. But basically, like, it would make most sense for the Yugumo to hunt the Izumo because he's the easiest target to torpedo. And oh, there is the Buffalo. Now the Buffalo knows he's detected, and that means the Buffalo might just use radar here. Well, if it's ready, the Buffalo should use radar here, because if he's detected, then he knows the destroyer has to be close by. And while he might not be entirely sure if it's inside his radar range, there's a high chance of that. And now he's detected the old-fashioned way because the Yugumo's here. Now maybe the Yugumo wanted to stick close to the Buffalo to provide a smoke screen. That would have made an awful lot of sense. Well, the Yugumo is trying to disappear here, but he's on too low health, I'm afraid. So yeah, down he goes. Now the Buffalo is finally realized he could be shooting. And this is a bad spot to be in. Like, even if he tries to go into concealment here, the Buffalo has a radar. Unless he's out of charges, I assume. So, Kutuzov desperately tries to gun down this Buffalo. I mean, it's possible that somebody else is... no, so don't think anybody else has shots at this. He did quite a bit of damage there, but unfortunately he went down. But there could still be a Kraken in it. Now the Buffalo needs to dodge those torps, and Buffaloes oftentimes don't carry Hydra. There's a lot of potential, although the Buffalo seems to be kind of turning this way. So can he thread the needle? Can he get into this cap? Or... nope. So there is the Kraken, there is a flesh wound, and... basically, this seems... one. So it's 2 against 1. Let's just speed this up. Because otherwise... oh, not that exciting. So we have the Udaloi. Basically, if the friendlies survive at this point, they should win, especially if they just go and grab A. The Subaru's plan seems to be just to grab A to be on the safe side and win by this. The Udaloi wants to defend B a bit more. He has to be careful. I really wouldn't want to gunboat Brindisi at this distance. I guess the Udaloi wanted to. The Udaloi really should be running like this, right? He's just running into the Brindisi's guns. If it... yeah, exactly like that. Down goes the other. So, I mean, it's not entirely won yet. The Izumo is somewhat healthy there. Izumo still tries to go for the safe play, I think, and just... I mean, if he just, like, takes this cap, like, goes sailing here, takes this cap, and then sails away, that should do it. But I guess the Izumo decided he kinda wants to fight. He has to be careful that he isn't getting torped if the enemy gets too close. Then again, like, he's getting more accurate with his guns if the cruiser get... and the torps missed. So, yeah. That's a win! Here we are with the results. Admiral Kutuzov earned himself 3046 base experience. Well, he did a lot in this one. And he also was kind of lucky that the enemy was incapable of finding the radar button. Now he also achieved the Confederate Kraken at chest of flesh wound high caliber, scoring 232,000 points of damage, and he managed to get his snowflake. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I'll see you guys next time.